Yeah, we most certainly can.
What up, y'all? We are back. This is the Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast with
Dashing D.
And I'm JD. And Chris is somewhere frolicking about.
Yes, but he made us coffee today. So,
Homemade.
Yeah.
With love.
With caramel and maple flavoring. It was
so autumny.
Yeah.
Is autumny a word?
Autumnal is the word.
Autumnal?
Mm-hmm.
Never heard that one.
Yeah. Autumnal is the word. Now the pronunciation of the word we might need to check, but it's definitely a word.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
But wait, but now that we're here, are you a pumpkin spice guy?
No.
The people love pumpkin spice.
I'm not that basic.
I am.
I'm pretty basic. Like, cookies and cream. I'm all
Same.
over everything cookies and cream. But
no pumpkin.
I don't really do any of the seasonal or holiday anything.
No apple cider, no.
I mean, I like apple cider, but I'm not
flavored things. Okay, so
like if I just happen to be strolling through Union Square,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, farmers market, oh, apple cider donuts.
Yeah,
all right,
you'll get some.
But I'm not like, but who's got the apple cider donuts? Because
okay, so
it's
I don't
now
do that
officially.
Although I will say the one thing that I am on the lookout for is pumpkin spice donuts. Not donuts. I'm sorry, Oreos. Because someone sent me a photo of it and said I need to try it.
You gotta relax.
So it's golden Oreos.
Where's Nori when you need him?
It's golden Oreos with, a little pumpkin spice in the cream. And I kind of want to try that. I mean, I'm down for a pumpkin spice latte, usually. But really my jam is the holiday drinks and things. I love like peppermint flavored things and whatever. This is not anything having to do with the pod, but I just wanted to ask because I went to Trader Joe's and everything is pumpkin. It's actually kind of disgusting. They had pumpkin bagels. They had pumpkin cookies. They had maple ice cream. I gotta be honest, I picked up the maple ice cream. I thought about it for about 5 minutes and then I went right back and put it back.
Oh, good job.
For multiple reasons. Also, I know what maple ice cream tastes like. Like, I don't really need to buy maple ice cream to know what that...
You could just put maple on your vanilla ice cream.
But then I was thinking, you're right. Then I was thinking, like, if you really get in your fall bag, they had these... They were like cinnamon rolls, but they were pumpkin, and then it had the glaze and whatever. And I was like, you could totally make that and then use the maple ice cream and then put a little caramel sauce on it and, dessert.
That's some fat shit.
Oh, it definitely is fat. I'm not disputing that. I'm trying to be on the up and up, so I didn't buy any of those things.
I'm about to say it. If you know me, I'm usually for all the fat shit, but I don't think that was quite my cup of tea there.
No, water is one thing I know for sure. But yeah, we can get started.
We can get
now
started.
That we've gotten through the basics.
Is there any follow-ups? No follow-ups, right?
Yeah, we do have a follow-up.
We do?
God did.
Oh, right.
So we did our fair share of standing when God Did came out.
Sure did. You know why? Because Hov did.
Because Hov did, and and as I said that day, they all did.
Agreed.
But what I'm noticing, and I don't listen to the radio regularly, so please correct us if we are wrong about this. Every time that I do hear God Did on the radio, it is only the Jay-Z verse.
Oh, I have yet to hear it, but I don't hear the radio anywhere. So
sometimes I hear it, like if I hop in an Uber or maybe I'm in a car with a friend or whatever, I hear it. So
that's only Hov did.
That right.
Wow.
I just thought we should bring it up just because.
I mean, I'm not mad at it, but it is kind of fucked up.
And I don't know. I thought initially that they were playing two versions of it, but since I heard the Hov only version, I haven't heard the other version again.
That's foul.
And again, I don't listen to the radio every day or anything like that, but I have heard the radio several times since the song came out. And that's the only thing that I'm hearing.
Should we talk about the audiobook, quote unquote?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Someone did a special on it's called The Beat.
Mm-hmm.
Is the name of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a newsy kind of show, but not really at the same time. And this guy did a great breakdown of all the Hove lyrics and speaks about how there's quadruple entendres and all type of crazy stuff. And
no, nothing entendres, huh?
No, not on that verse. And Jay-Z and his team scooped it right up and put it out as a quote unquote audiobook. It is called Hove Did the Audiobook.
Yeah.
And I just gotta say that is some smart shit. Like, I don't know how they got the rights to do that, but I'm not mad at it. I've already listened to it twice, even though I saw the actual footage from the show. But that's some smart shit.
It's smart.
So
listen, if it's working, it's working. Then work it.
And it's working.
So I have no qualms. I don't have anything to say about it. I think you capitalize on the moment.
Sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you have to. You know, isn't that the American way?
That is part of the American way.
Let me take this and let me multiply this into like 500 different things.
As you should.
Right. Because if the people want it, then why not?
Why not?
Why not? Well,
moving right along.
That's a little Jay-Z tidbit, you know. Nothing crazy going on over there. We just wanted to, you know, bring that stuff up.
Yeah.
All right. We could go in a lot of different directions.
Lead us. Oh, great one.
So, all right. Let's you want to talk about Tory Lanez and August Alsina?
Sure. Will Smith sent a large check over to Tory. No, I'm just kidding.
I listen. Okay.
Well, there's some R&B tour going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's called Bringing Back R&B or something like that. Anyway, Tory Lanez and August Alsina were both part of the tour. And a scuffle happened.
Yeah.
August Alsina refused to give a dap.
Don't give no dap to me, man.
Is that a Drake lyric?
Is that Jay-Z? That's not Jay-Z?
So. No, I don't think so.
No. It's funny how no. Is that Blessed? That's Blessed, but I don't know whose verse that is.
What's Blessed?
Blessed? Big Sean?
Stay true, that's all me. All me for real.
No, Blessed. Wait. I'm blessed. Why are we having a hard time?
I don't listen to Drake stuff like that.
I don't think that's Drake.
But Drake's on it.
But I don't think that's Drake, and it's not Drake's song.
But, you know.
You just want to... You always want a reason to say you don't mess with Drake like that.
He's on the song.
What does that have to do with
Drake stuff gets played way too much. So it's hard to listen to.
It might have been a Big Sean line, actually. It was one of the Seans. Just not Carter. I don't know why I thought it was... I don't know why bitch, don't give me no dab to me. Yeah, who said it, though? I guess it is Big Sean. Drake and Big Sean are the only two people on the song. Why did I think there were more people on that song? Yeah, that's a Big Sean line.
Got it.
I'm sorry it took me so long to get there, but I haven't heard the song in a while. That's a line that
that's why I just like, whose song is that?
Yeah.
So, August Alsina did not give Tory Lanez a dap, a 5, a greeting, a handshake. Excuse the left. He ain't even give him the left. He just was like, nah.
I'm good here.
He just Kanye shrugged and kept it pushing.
What did Future say? I'm good, love. Thanks.
You gonna quote all the shit I don't know today, huh?
You quote everything every day.
But I be quoted anyway. All right, so we're never gonna get through this story.
Yes, yeah, I'll shut up.
August Alsina didn't want to dap up Tory Lanez because Tory Lanez had said some things about him in the past that August Alsina felt were distasteful. So he distastefully disagreed to greet him. And then a few minutes later, the two gentlemen had a small chat, which audio is out. We're not going to play it, but y'all can find it if you want. And August Alsina was talking a little spicy, as the kids say. And then Tory Lanez and I believe they said 8 security guards. No, I'm wrong.
I don't know the number. I believe you.
I believe it's 8.
I'm shaking my head because this story to me is just ridiculous.
Oh, well, yeah. Tory Lanez and his security guards approached August Alsina, and then they put the beats on him. According to August Alsina immediately went to the nearest elevator and took a pic. Had a friend or someone from his entourage. Listen, I'm just reporting here.
I'm laughing because I saw the photo and I was like, why is he posted up bleeding?
I'll put it on the screen.
What is this? He didn't think to run and like clean himself up. He thought to take a photo.
Oh, yeah. You don't know what happened next?
Yeah.
The tweet? That's why.
No, I know why. I'm just saying instinctively.
No. If I'm trying to sue you for assault, then I have to provide evidence and state my case, and that's what he's doing. He's building a case.
He didn't have to build the case on the internet, though.
Well,
I guess that's my point, is that like he was over there posing for the camera, like
he posed in the elevator. We can see his bloody nose, face, whatever. And he went to Twitter and he put out his account of what happened. And Tory Lanez said, nothing happened. I don't know what he's talking about.
I saw that. I saw when Tory said that. I was kind of watching it unfold in real time. I saw when Tory said that, and you know what I said to myself? Tory knows what he's talking about.
Listen,
I had a hunch that Tory knew what he was talking about. And we will get there about my hunch about Tory Lanez, but I had a hunch that perhaps allegedly he was involved. Carry on, please.
Just a little sidebar.
Yeah.
Speaking of allegedly and involved, did you hear about the baby?
No.
The baby put out a new secret project, as they say. Just dropped the project with no promo, you know? And I believe it's track 3 or 2 on the project. Line number 2 is that he slept with Meg the day before.
I heard about this.
That he slept with Meg the day before the Tory incident. And basically insinuating Tory is a bitch ass nigga. But it's really weird.
Why are we doing this?
That's why I asked if you heard about it, because I didn't know
that it was that he was. I knew that he said that. I knew that he said that he slept with her. I didn't know what the context was.
Yeah, he's saying I slept with her the day before the incident, and her man still went and was making a fool of himself and some other things.
Like why are we doing it? What is this new thing that we're doing? Where everybody's coming out and saying, "Guess who I slept with?"
Well, that's not new. That's been happening since the beginning of time.
But it's making its rounds way more than it was before, because the beginning of time it wasn't making its rounds around the internet like this. Now it's like everybody's doing it. It doesn't matter who it is now. Before it used to be certain usual suspects who love to tell their business.
Yep.
But please carry on. I'm sorry. No, take your sip.
No, I can wait.
Take your sip. Chris made you coffee. Take your sip, or else we'll fire him. Please.
You see what I got to deal with?
I mean, listen.
Y'all see what I got to deal with? This is for you, Chris. Coincidentally, again, in August Alsina's tweet, he said he was going to keep it a G and not say anything.
Okay.
And that's also what the baby said in his song.
I'm not
he
gonna
was
say
gonna
nothing
keep it
but...
a G. No, he was going to keep it a G and not say nothing.
But now...
But
what
he
changed?
said something. I don't know.
What changed? Why do they do this? And then, here's my thing, right? If you're going to be petty, say you petty and just be petty, right?
Right.
My problem is...
That's why I like the game.
Right, because the game is just like, fuck it, I'm going to tell you everything. I'm a gossip,
just like,
okay?
Listen,
I'm a gossip, I'm petty, and that's it.
Just like, yeah, Kim Kardashian sucked my dick,
right.
and I should have told Kanye before he got with her. I'm like,
right.
What is going? Why did we need to know that?
But he's also not pretending to be somebody. He's not. He's also not pretending to. Oh, I'm all high and mighty, but I gotta tell y'all something real quick. The rest of these dudes, what is this for? Like, if you petty, then just say you petty. If you can't keep it to yourself, if you just want to gossip, then say, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all some tea. This is the tea. What frustrates me is stuff like that. When they come out and be like, I wasn't even gonna say nothing, but
what's interesting to me is they never have a real reason after the but.
Of course not.
It's just, I was gonna keep it G, but I'm gonna tell y'all.
Right, because there's nothing. It honestly, it looks more like a clout chase. And a lot of times, the thing I think that frustrates me the most is that these are people who don't need to chase the clout. I feel like it's more of a, oh my gosh, nobody's talking about me today. Let me find a reason to have them talk about me this week.
You mean with saying that they slept with people?
Yes.
Oh.
I feel like it's more of that than anything else, because we didn't ask you for that information. We don't want to know.
We didn't. We don't. Because
honestly, outside of you telling me this, and us having a podcast, I don't give a shit about whether the baby slept with Meg Thee Stallion or not. I don't care.
I only know because, well, you know I am.
Right, and it's fine. I'm not saying not to bring it up. I'm just saying because we have a podcast, and I'm going to be honest, I like to talk about this shit on this podcast. Right, but I'm not gonna lie about that and be like, oh my gosh, I'm just too good to talk about this. No, but in real life, like in normal everyday, that's why I passed by it when I saw it on the internet the other day, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I heard about it on another podcast, and then someone I follow on Twitter was speaking about it as well. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is something we should mention. I don't know if it deserves more than a mention, but
right. I don't think there's anything to unpack here. I mean, he want to be a part of the whole scandal of it all. Good for him. Let him chase it.
I mean, I'm a little confused because, like, Tory, I don't understand. I don't understand why you would fight someone, assault someone, hit someone, when you've got a lot already going on. And this doesn't help your case, player. Not in the court of public opinion, and not in the court of law. I'm confused.
Me too.
But if I was Will Smith,
that was my biggest takeaway here.
I would be, you'd see me in some pictures at a fancy restaurant with Tory Lanez. I appreciate you. It's dinner on me tonight. Where you want to go? Just pick a spot.
I'm a little
Matter of fact, Jaden, pick up Tory and bring him to the house.
Not Jaden. Go pick him up.
Go get him. You don't know he's not your friend? He should be your friend.
He should be.
You brought the wrong guy to the house. Go get that young guy and bring him over. If Jada, you can fuck this one.
All right. I don't even know what to do with that.
Just saying, if I was Will.
If you will,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
I listen.
Because Tory Lanez gave it to him Big Willie style. You know what I'm saying?
Tory Lanez.
I do gotta be honest. Sorry to cut you off. I do have to be honest. I really like that Tory Lanez actually did keep it a G and is like, nothing happened. I'm like, Tory, but what happened? Nothing. And I don't even know why I got kicked off the tour. I don't know what happened. Nothing happened as far as I know. I love that. I gotta keep it real.
Because Tory doesn't have a whole lot of choice in that. Tory is still has a pending case.
Yeah, that case been going on since '85.
Yeah, and it's so unclear what direction that case is going to go in. That
I don't think it's unclear. But
what do you think is gonna happen?
We can talk off pod.
I just feel like it's just been going on and on and on, and everything is vague and everything is. I think everybody who is a part of it and is involved in it and has to help litigate it and all of that, I think they all know what really happened.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know what the resolution is, and that's what
the resolution is. Someone's in trouble.
Right. Well, okay. Anyway, it's not the right time. It's never the right time to assault someone.
I don't know if I could agree with that.
Wait,
I don't know if I can agree with that. Sometimes you gotta
fuck somebody up. You're right. But
sometimes you gotta put the Swiss beats on them.
But we don't all have a pending case.
I mean, I don't have any pending cases. I'm not saying just walk around and snuff niggas because they won't say hello.
Agreed. But we don't all have a pending assault case.
But sometimes it is the right time to smack the shit out of
I agree. I take
not on the Oscar stage.
I take back what I said. There are times
where
people are more than deserving. There are times. Yes, I fully agree with that. I'm not talking about Tory Lanez getting upset because August Alsina didn't say hi. Who cares? You mad that August Alsina didn't say hi to you and you threw a fit.
Wow.
And all that does is give the right people ammunition to say you don't know how to control your anger.
Yeah, he got kicked off the tour.
He got kicked off the tour, but I'm talking about everything else that he's attached to. Yeah. It doesn't make him look good. It makes him look bad.
Yes.
That was a stupid move on his part. Even if he's going to sit up here and deny it and act like it didn't happen, it's still stupid.
Wait, August Alsina said Tory's team has footage of the whole thing. Release the footage.
Release the...
What?
No, August. August.
Hold on.
But see, August is another one. August is another one who is like, listen, I'm gonna just tell y'all because that's what I do.
Yo, fam, if I have the footage of me beating the shit out of you, why would I put that out?
You are never getting it.
No one's getting it.
No, of course not. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. This is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. That's all I have to say about it. I think it's ridiculous. I think Tory needs to chill out with the bullshit. If you're gonna go ahead and continue to make music and continue to do what you do, perform and all of that, then do it. But getting involved in nonsense like this,
yeah, he gotta relax.
He can't.
In the words of Nori, you gotta relax.
And August.
August gonna do whatever he got to do for a come up. Right now,
I was just about
to
say.
Right now, that's a civil suit versus Tory Lanez.
I was just about to say, public service announcement to anyone who will listen: don't get into some shit with August Alsina. He will tell all of the business, because I do believe that there is a code between people who fight. Like if you like.
Oh, not in the music industry.
No, not in the music industry, but I'm just saying in general. Two people have a fight. there are those of you who will call the cops and who will, snitch, for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
And then there are the others who we got into a fight. That was that.
Nothing happened.
Right. Nobody even knows we got into a fight.
Right.
Because that shit was between me and you.
Right.
It doesn't make headlines. You know how many fights we haven't seen?
Right.
You know how many fights don't make it to the internet?
Right.
So that's why I'm saying PSA to anyone who will listen, don't fuck with August Alsina, because he's going to tell your business. That's it. Especially not you, Tory. Especially not you.
Right.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. What do you have to say about B2K on Drink Champs?
Baby, turn around and let me see that sexy body go. Y'all know I'm an R&B singer. I watched it. I watched B2K on Drink Champs.
I'm sorry, you watched who?
B2K
Oh, okay.
on Drink Champs. That was just my reenactment of B2K back in the day.
We saw.
I think that it was a very one-sided conversation. Although I think that you could tell that they were trying to be, because obviously Omarion wasn't there. I think that you could tell that they were trying not to be fuck that nigga. I felt that. I felt like they knew that there was a line.
Okay.
And they stayed far away enough from the line. It doesn't mean that they didn't.
How do you stay far away from the line?
Well, because I think the line is
fucking your baby mama.
No. I think the line is: are we gonna go in there? Are we gonna shit on this person, or are we gonna go in there and we're just gonna tell the facts and let people decide how they feel about it? Because there are those people who have animosity for another person and will go into an interview and just shit on them. Like,
this is true.
So for me, I felt like they didn't really go that far.
Got it. Even
though obviously things are not good between them and Omarion. But they were candid about, I don't want to use the word honest because I don't know that it's honest. I don't know that that's their truth. Mm-hmm. I don't know what his side of the story is. They basically said that the group broke up because of two things. One, mainly because I guess Omarion was already being courted to be a solo artist. And then some stuff went down between them about a girl. Between Fizz and Omarion about a girl. And Omarion got mad is what they're saying. And that's when things heightened with him severing ties with the group. And like management taking him under their wing and trying to launch his solo career.
Got it.
Again.
So this was all about a touch.
Yeah. Doom, doom, doom. Don't make me do the 2000s dance.
You know the name of the episode.
Touch. Yes. This was all about a touch. Basically, I guess Fizz was bragging. They said there used to be a lot of locker room talk, and Fizz was bragging one day about a girl who was associated with the tour that they were on, bragging that, he was smashing the whole tour. And Omarion got upset and said, oh my goodness, how could you? I really like this girl. And
so he wasn't unbothered.
He wasn't unbothered then, and he's not unbothered now. I mean, Fizz told a story about April being in April's house, sitting on April's couch when that man showed up to pick up his children. That's a time where you need to bust a cap in a motherfucker's ass. Okay? You want to talk about times when it's okay to beat the shit out of somebody? I'm not encouraging violence. I just want to be clear.
Yo, if I go to pick up my kids, I mean, I only have one child, but if I go to pick up my kid, and one of my co-hosts for Man Cave Monday just happens to be sitting on the couch.
Sitting on the couch, like it's not. First of all, in the house you pay for. Remember, April and Omarion were together and engaged at one point. Like this is not just some women that okay, this fly by night thing or whatever. No, they were in a relationship and had 2 children together.
And so I just go over and they're just like, oh, well, Tez, what are you doing on the couch?
Not you putting your co-host name out there.
Well, I mean, I said Man Cave Mondays.
You did say Man Cave Mondays. I see the way you was trying to plug. You was trying to plug the pot. It's okay.
Plug.
It's okay. We would just like to say that Man Cave Mondays comes out once a month on a Monday. I don't really know which Monday it is.
Monday.
But if you follow Sexual Intellectual, wherever you get your podcasts, you'll be able to get Man Cave Mondays. Is that what you really wanted to say?
I was just saying if one of my boys, because my boys are who's on the show with me.
Of course. I totally understand.
If one of my closest friends just happens to be sitting on my baby mama's couch in the house that I pay for, and in the Omarion situation.
In the Omarion situation.
Mine. And it just like, oh, okay. Oh, hi, Nestor. What's going on? Hi, how are you? Oh, you said he slept over?
So apparently he didn't say, he's saying that he was sitting on the couch and he was going to try to talk to him that day. No.
It's too late.
No. You shouldn't have been talking to him that day. You should have been talking to him before you sat on that woman's couch.
Yeah, because you got in. Never mind.
And he basically said that
just yet.
Omarion ignored him.
Listen,
and I think
you should have had a conversation before you got in the pussy, let alone the house.
Of course. But that's why I'm like, all right, so okay, I understand they were very young when this thing happened.
With April?
No. Back in 2 years ago. No, back in the day when the group dismantled, because the group dismantled pretty quickly. They came out like Fast and Furious. The Millennium album was in 2000, and then 2 years later, it was over. So what I'm saying is they were very young then.
Sure. When
that happened.
But if you knew Omarion was weak for bitches, why would you fuck his baby moms and then think it's going to be okay?
I don't think he thought it was going to be okay. I think he knew that he was being petty. They also spoke about how him and J Boog are very good friends. They're very close. They're best friends. Mm. And so Nori said, well, Boog, what did you think about your boy
smashing
your bandmates, baby moms? Boog checked in, and this is how you know friends are friends, right? Boog
gave him the look.
Boog looked at Fizz and was like, "You want to talk about what I said to you?" So Fizz starts talking to him, and Nori and EFN are like, "No. Your man's is sitting right here. We asked your man's a question." So Boog looked at him again, like Fizz was like, "Nah, go ahead." You know, that's how I knew that they were really friends when they were saying that they said that they've been best friends. Boog said the only reason that he doesn't really get involved in a lot of the stuff is because he lived on the other side of LA. So he said he lived like 2 hours away from them. He wasn't around them a lot.
Got it.
He hasn't been around them a lot over the past several years. But Boog was like, he said, at first I asked him, is this really happening? Because he said at the time, the show hadn't come out. That storyline hadn't.
Show?
Love and Hip Hop. This all played out on Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, see, I'm not hip. No pun intended.
Oh yeah, the thing with Fizz and April played out on television. Yes. So so Boog basically asked him, "Is this for a storyline or is this real?"
Right.
And he said at first, Fizz was like, "Nah, nothing's going on." But apparently he wasn't allowed to divulge the information until the show came out. And then once the show came out, he was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
I mean, at that point, you knew what he was doing.
But I guess he meant, like, why? What would make you do this? First of all, you already know the issues that you have with your own child's mother. What are you computing in your head? You know we can see you, right?
Yes, thank you.
All of a sudden, it's like it's like a calculator was like going. What were you computing? Please share with the class.
I was trying to figure out what the line was from. I think it's Eddie Murphy. There's a comedian who says, "How many times have you fucked a girl just because she was hanging around?" That's what I was trying to figure out. I remember that's the line. I'm trying to figure out what comedian says it.
Gotcha.
He says, "How many times have you fucked a girl just because she was hanging around?" It might have been why,
Right. So,
or maybe not. Maybe he been wanting to,
I mean, maybe he has. Again,
slide up in that.
Again, check out Man Cave Mondays because this is adjacent to a conversation you guys had.
This is true.
So, check that out. After you're done with this, go over there. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to hear them discuss that. They got into, because this is a music podcast, not a gossip podcast. They got into,
if you say so.
They got into conversations about Verzuz and the fact that they were approached about Verzuz. They are saying that Omarion's manager reached out to them, it's someone who they're familiar with, reached out to them, and I guess their people, and said, "Hey, can we set up a meeting to talk about Verzuz?" They get on the call. Omarion is not on the call. Fizz said they were thinking, okay, this is going to be a good opportunity for us to kind of make amends and reconcile and whatever. And I don't know if he believed that shit, but he said it. They got on the call, and then I guess the manager was like, well, I think that you guys should come out with Omarion and do some B2K songs. And they were like, wait, so you don't want B2K, you want us to like help out Omarion? Is that what he's asking for? And she was like, he doesn't know yet that I'm having this conversation with you
the
guys.
sneaky link.
Yeah. And they were like, we don't want it to look like we're trying to jump on his shit.
Right.
We were okay with, if it's okay, B2K is coming together to do this thing. But we don't want it to look like, not to him and not to the public, we don't want it to look like we're trying to ride his coattails. And he said that's the way it was coming off. And
so that's why Omarion did. I don't know what was in your coffee, but he ain't put none of that in mine.
I'm drinking water now, so I'm trying to dilute it now.
All right. What's the next topic? we can dance on out of here.
No thoughts? I know you didn't watch it, but
I didn't watch it. I mean, I knew what was going to happen when I saw that they did Drink Champs, so I didn't bother. And I'm not a B2K fan, so it didn't strike my interest.
No? You didn't turn around and make your sexy body go bump, bump, bump?
I don't have a... Never mind.
All right.
That was a good one.
Speaking of Verzuz.
Ready?
I mean,
we got to pull up the.
we talked about
info.
We just mentioned Verzuz, so we might as well, right?
You're right.
So the Verzuz lawsuit.
So Swiss and Tim, they alleged a while ago that Triller, did not uphold the deal when they signed to sell the Verzuz entity to them.
Mm-hmm.
They were promised X amount of bread, according to Swiss and Tim.
28 million
each. And then it was supposed to be more bread later. They're saying they didn't get the money they were supposed to get in totality. Mm-hmm. Triller released a statement pretty much responding, saying, yeah, we gave you the 28 and we still have until X amount of time to pay you the rest. And a civil suit ensued. A civil suit ensued. A civil suit ensued. All right, it was an interesting one. Anyway, niggas was suing each other, all right? That's the point.
Okay.
So, there's now a settlement, and an increase has also happened for the co-owners. Because for those who don't know, when Swiss and Tim sold Verzuz to Triller, they gave a portion of their ownership to this is not how you word this. They gave a portion of the percentage that they own of Verzuz to the people who helped them do Verzuz, who participated in Verzuz prior to this deal. So those
so they're stakeholders.
Right. So those stakeholders now have an increase, and a settlement was reached between Triller and Swiss and Tim. Take it away.
Well,
a civil suit ensued.
I do not see. I don't think they released the amount. That would be the only thing I would add here. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't appear that they did. They did make an announcement. I guess their people made an announcement and said Swizz Beatz and Timbaland remain proud of the platform that they created with Verzuz and its acquisition by Triller due to the company's willingness to celebrate and showcase artists. This is according to Variety. Yeah, it doesn't really give away what they were awarded. Mm-hmm. We just know that their stake has increased and there was a payout. All right. I mean, I think that this just speaks to a conversation that we often have here about ownership and about what happens when you decide to expand. There are some unfortunate hiccups that often happen when you do that.
Right.
And again, it's unfortunate. So if they're happy and I'm happy, I feel like Verzuz is, I don't know. Verzuz is very, I'm very indifferent about Verzuz these days.
I know.
I want it to be, I want to enjoy it the way that I enjoyed it in the beginning. And I find it difficult sometimes to do that. So, but I'm glad that they've found a way to keep it going. I don't think that it's something that should have just gone away after lockdown was over. And I wish them well. And I wish for us, the viewing public, good Verzuz battles or whatever you want to call them to come.
Speaking of Verzuz battles,
is there one coming?
There was one that just wrapped up.
Really?
DJ Akademiks.
I was like, wait a minute. Did I miss a Verzuz?
Nope.
Do we need to be talking about it?
Oh, we need to talk about it.
Oh, well, you got this one because I don't reside in the land of academics.
Oh, me either. But it was all over. So basically, DJ Akademiks said that he said the elder statesman in hip hop. I'm paraphrasing just in case anyone feels like being silly about this. I'm not giving a direct quote, and I will not play the audio. But DJ Akademiks basically said that the elder statesmen in hip hop should shut the fuck up because they're dusty. They are not wealthy. They don't have anything to show for who they are. And nobody better come for him because he don't fuck with those people anyway. So many people responded. Uh, Prominent people from the culture responded.
LL Cool J.
Well, I wasn't gonna name everybody, but yeah, LL Cool J is the one that seems to have been getting the most attention. But
Michael Rappaport.
I didn't see that. That's interesting.
He involves. Never mind. I don't need to be talking about that white man on here. I
You got something to say?
Nope.
Russell Simmons responded.
I didn't know Russell Simmons responded.
Uncle Russell, you know, he said some things.
Is he still in hiding?
Don't make me caress dresses. I just finished caressing.
Y'all know that nigga was in hiding, okay? Everybody act like we're not allowed to talk about that. You know, it's like the uncle that you're not allowed to talk about. Anyway. You know why.
LL Cool J made some very good points. He stated that hip hop's inception was something that to the rest of the world came out of nowhere. And in the early days of hip hop, even in his time, it was something that labels didn't believe in, people didn't believe in. And he said, as far as dollar amounts go, he said two things that are important. One is he said that the amount in your bank account does not erase or tell the story of your imprint, the mark you've left on the world, on music, period, on the culture. He gave some examples of people in other genres who are legends. He said, we've never asked to look at that person's bank account. That's the first thing he said that I think is really important. And the second thing was, he said, it's crazy that someone can try to critique a business plan and where people are with their business when in that time period, hip hop wasn't a business. There was no business plan to create. There were no managers. There was no anything. No one believed in it. No one knew what it was capable of. So, and he did it in a good way. You could tell that he was holding back because this is something that he cares a lot about. And, you know, he clearly was offended. He didn't even say Akademiks' name. And
LL is someone who works.
Well, LL is a legend in hip hop, and he's done a lot of great things, both musically and outside of music for the culture. So I think that this was challenging for him. Also, there's a big age difference,
right?
And also, Akademiks responded.
I don't know what he said.
He just gave context. He said he was not speaking about all the elders of hip hop. He was speaking about people who criticize him and the young rappers, even though they didn't help him or the young rappers. And that there's a group who came up through the internet and kind of paved their own way, and that there are elder statesmen who kind of try to hold those people back, including him, and try to be gatekeepers and not share information and not be helpful. And so fuck you, he's saying fuck you guys, that group.
Right, he called them dusty.
And he's saying y'all are dusty because he's saying, look, we made it even though you held back information and refused to help and tried to shit on us. So fuck y'all who tried to do all of that, and life has bit you in the ass and karma has reduced you to a dusty bum ass nigga. That's the context he gave.
Sure.
I think the context helps.
I think context helps. I also think you're right in saying that this is a different time. And so to say that about people who built their careers off of very little foundation and built their careers during a time where there was no, where the being on the internet wasn't a thing, and it's just completely different. The cost of something back then is not the same today. So
Right.
obviously a new rapper today is probably making way more in a when we're doing like comparisons, a revenue comparison, it wouldn't be the same amount of money today that it would have been back then. That's just a fact. I don't know though. I think that it's really complicated with DJ Akademiks because he talks a lot of shit, and he says a lot of things about a lot of people, and then he's constantly having to come back and say, oh, that's not what I meant, that's not how I meant it. He says a lot of clickbait type of things, and I think sometimes people just get fed up with him because the stuff about Akademiks kind of comes in waves, and we're in an Akademiks wave right now. He said something about Reginae Carter. I don't know what it was. Lil Wayne's daughter, but I know her mother came out and said something in the last 24 hours. Yep. I don't know what he said because, again, I don't seek out what DJ Akademiks does. But apparently he said something about Reginae Carter, and her mother got on the internet and was like, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but basically said, keep my daughter's name out your mouth.
Keep my wife's name
out your fucking mouth. That'll never get old.
Probably not.
And then there's someone else. Gosh, I can't remember right at this moment. There's someone else who is upset with him about something completely separate. So I think that's the weird part, right? Because I'm sure that for the OG rappers, the OG hip hop artists who keep up with what is going on today, they may not always come out and say that they heard somebody said something, but it doesn't mean that they don't have their ears to the streets. It doesn't mean that they don't know that these things are going on. I think sometimes people just get fed up with Akademiks. And I respect it. If you're saying that you sought out help, or you sought out people, supporting what you were doing over the years and didn't get that from them, then I hear you. I mean, but you're also building your career on shitting on everyone. So I don't understand how.
I don't know if that's true.
He does a lot of that.
But he also helps a lot of the young artists.
And that's fine. I'm not saying...
He speaks for a lot of them in a large way. The way that people in certain age groups and certain segments of hip-hop seek out a Breakfast Club or a Joe or a Nori, the youngins, they seek out Akademiks. That's who they feel connected with. That's who they feel comfortable with. That's who they feel can understand their struggle and what they're doing, because they are, I don't want to say internet kids, but they are doing things in a way that is a lot more digital and a lot more new aged. Okay. So they seek him out, and he's tight with a lot of them, and they look at him like, yeah, this the dude who did what I'm trying to do. This the dude who understands my story.
Okay. I mean,
and I'm not saying that to defend him.
The only time I ever hear about Akademiks is him talking shit about other people. I don't ever his viral moments. I've never seen anything go viral about him helping somebody. I always see him go viral for the shady stuff that he discusses or whatever. So I can appreciate you saying that because I guess I don't know enough about him and what he does for other people.
He was very influential in the early days of Tekashi 6ix9ine before all the bullshit happened.
I've heard about that.
I'm not gonna sit here and try to cape for him or act like I know all of it. I just know that he is connected with a lot of the younger artists and he understands the nuances of their situations. But yes, Akademiks talks his shit, and I'm not trying to sit here and defend him. I don't seek out what he does. I'm not on Twitch, which is where a lot of his stuff is. I know he has a Spotify podcast, but I don't listen to it. I just want to call spades. That's all I'm attempting to do.
That's fine. No, I appreciate
as
you
a
saying
person
it.
As a person who loves the hip hop culture,
mm-hmm.
as a person who is thankful for our forefathers, so to speak, as a person who highly respects the elder statesmen, and as a person who came into the culture later in life, I guess you could say. I mean, as a teen.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because people our age literally grew up in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not trying to like quote the show or anything, but there are people who from the time that they were a baby, all they knew was hip hop. And that was not the case for me. So as you know, it's my view is very different than an Akademiks, because coming in as a teenager or someone like 12 years old listening to hip hop for the first time, for real, it's very different for me as a person who appreciates it, has, gone back and learned about all this older music and the way things have come to be where they are today, and so many different things about the culture that, it was not something that was around me regularly. I kind of can understand some of the things that Akademiks says and does. I just don't agree with a lot of it. And I think if you're going to call people dusty and try to shit on people, then you should probably provide context first. Because what I see is Akademiks says shit and then has to kind of explain himself because he wilded out. And I think if you're going to wild out, that's cool. Like, I did a 45-minute thing on Will Smith here. I gave like an hour thing here on Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm not going to act like I just sit up here and praise everyone. But I think that context is important. And if you don't provide it, it leaves the door open for lots of shit to come your way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this could have went a lot of ways.
Right.
So I guess if I would have heard the initial and we recorded this right after, I probably would have been a lot more riled up.
Yeah.
I probably would have been semi-disrespectful. But hearing LL's response was helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, hearing Akademiks' response that provided some context was helpful as well. I just think that it's hard to say apples to apples when it comes to hip-hop. Because number one, hip hop is the youngest genre of the mainstream genres.
Mm-hmm.
And hip hop is a culture, it's not just music. So that adds a lot of layers to the conversation. And being that Ak is a part of the culture, but not really, it makes it challenging too, because he's not someone who's engulfed in it like a lot of the people who we know, follow, respect, adore. He's kind of the outsider who's inside. It's weird.
Mhm.
So I think there's a lot of nuance. I think there's a lot of feelings and skewed perspectives in this situation. Um, and I think sometimes you gotta one, do the history, and two, put respect on people's names. Like,
Mhm.
you gotta be careful how you word shit. Now, again, yes, if he's saying, and I'll wrap it up because I know I'm long winded right now, but if he's saying, hey, there were a group of people who had knowledge, had resources, and wouldn't help me or the younger rap artist, so now that we have made it, fuck y'all, I totally understand that. I'm not mad at that, but I think that if that's what you were trying to say, then you gotta word shit properly. Like,
Mhm.
you can't come in here and be like, I'm not even gonna give an example because it just is not gonna sound good. But you can't just fly off the handle, especially with your reputation, and think that nothing's gonna happen. I mean, this could have went a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So
And it's like it kind of reminds. They're not the same. Excuse me. I almost feel like my body knew that I was gonna say something, that I was gonna make a comparison
it
that
was like, no, 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 no.
it's kind of like the Wendy Williams effect, right?
Okay.
Where and I think she's worth bringing up because as Nikki would say, well, you bitches is her sons. Like
Okay.
Wendy built her career on what part of what academics does, right?
Yeah.
He's just doing it. He's doing it specifically in hip hop or what, however you want to frame
No,
it.
she's from the same family tree.
It's
He's from the same family tree.
right. So
Yeah, because
and
he's very public about his adoration for Charlemagne.
yes, and Charlemagne came up under Wendy.
Absolutely.
So the reason I bring her up is because I think, and this is why I say that it's kind of complicated and there's almost an indifference towards him and what he does and whatever, is because I don't want to, we wouldn't be podcasting if people like Wendy Williams didn't exist, or we wouldn't be sitting here talking about these specific types of things if a Wendy Williams didn't happen. Same thing for Akademiks. I don't want to make it seem like he's wrong for doing what he does and he's built a pretty strong career on it. Let him tell it. He'll tell you about his $1 million home, and he'll tell you about all of the accomplishments that he's made. And honestly, listen, he did all of that on his own on Twitch and wherever he started out. I know he did Complex at some point. Now he's on Spotify. So I don't want to knock him for those things. I think that we have to remember, but I think that what happens is, and kind of what we're both saying, is that you do it with, but you have to do it with the understanding that people will not always understand you. People will not always respect you for what you say. Listen, Wendy's life fell apart, and a lot of people's reaction was, well, fuck her.
Right.
And the things that she did. I don't feel the same way, because I feel like, again, we don't get this type of show. We don't get a lot of things that exist today would not be if there weren't pioneers like her. But you got to be prepared for the consequences. And I think that was one thing that she always said. She was just like, well, I knew they were going to be mad at me. But I was the only one doing this.
And I agree, and I think the difference is Ak thrives because hip hop exists.
Yeah.
And I don't see a lot of paying homage to the pioneers, the elder statesmen, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the differences. If he was doing the math,
Right,
doing the science, then I think it would be a little different.
mm-hmm.
But I think the fact that he kind of puts a target on his back off rip
Mm-hmm.
is adding insult to injury.
I mean, I just went to his podcast page because I was curious about it and like how they position his podcast. Because I feel like once you sign on with somebody and you're not doing it on your own, things shift a little bit, right? And you have to kind of, play the game a little bit. I think it's interesting.
Act plays the game.
Of course, I'm not saying that he doesn't. I'm saying that's why I looked at it, because I was curious about what his content looks like versus looking at his content that's like on YouTube. So, but I think it's interesting that on Friday, his episode is called "Letter to LL Cool J." I didn't realize. I didn't know that before.
Yeah, that's the response.
Yeah, and it says, "This is to the OGs and LL Cool J, signed with love. XOXOXO DJ Akademiks."
Sure.
So maybe that's, listen.
Like I said, he did add context.
And we get, and to be honest, sometimes a young man like DJ Akademiks, feels himself a little bit. And he, Akademiks likes to talk big talk. The videos that I've seen of him, he's very much a big talker. He's very much someone who, says things, shocking things that people will react to. And so sometimes, a little humility goes a long way.
This is true.
And sometimes it takes the OGs to make you feel like...
A little bow.
Yeah. Make you feel like, okay, maybe I needed to reel it in. Or at the very least, even if you're not reeling it in, be direct about what you're saying.
Right.
Because you and I both know, after having been podcasting for however long, not just here, but in other our other things that we do too, if you don't say it the way you meant to say it,
yeah,
then people interpret it however they want to, or however they think you meant it.
Right.
So, listen, I don't want to knock his hustle. I just, if you're going to say thug shit, you got to be prepared for the responses that it's going to get. And, again, I don't know why Michael Rappaport was involved, but we can move on. All right. I don't think we have much more, actually. Surprisingly. Okay, so there were a couple shows that happened this weekend that I thought...
Rolling Loud.
Rolling Loud happened in New York. Apparently, the mayor requested that some of the drill rappers be removed from the roster at the last minute.
At the behest of the NYPD?
At the behest of the NYPD.
I have no comment.
I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that this is a black mayor.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. One of the guys, even his manager, said, I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I was just looking it up. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys doesn't even have a criminal record.
Because it's not about criminal records.
I understand. I know it's not. But they pointed that, his manager pointed it out. Like, hey, he doesn't even have a criminal record. Like,
it's not about that.
You knocking him off of the show, and I'm just saying, I know what it's not about, but I think that sometimes they're actually able to hide behind certain things. Like, you could explain, if your evidence was, this guy is wanted for murder, or this guy is this, or this guy has recently been accused of this, maybe, and we're afraid of bringing, I still wouldn't agree, right? But at the very least, you had a reason. I know that's not what it's about. Like I said, I'm frustrated. This mayor is black, and he is like Rolling Loud. Then cancel the whole thing. If you feel like Rolling Loud is bringing on something that in New York that it shouldn't. If you truly believe that, then cancel the whole fucking show. What did these people do? All right, well, we don't do a podcast.
The problem is that the festivals are working with the police.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that the festivals are traveling to different cities,
Mm-hmm.
and they are, I don't want to say wild shit without being clear after what we just did. It seems to me,
Mm-hmm.
and there's evidence of this from other acts being removed in other cities,
Mm-hmm.
and people being arrested right after leaving stages, that the festivals are trying to keep their name at a high esteem. They're trying to make sure that they're good with the cities
Mm-hmm.
that they are traveling to or
Mm-hmm.
passing through. So they're doing what's best for them
Mm-hmm.
as a festival, as a business, as an entity.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of business, which is part of capitalism, all of that. They don't give a fuck about the performers. They don't give a fuck about the artists. They only care about ticket sales and keeping their name clean
Mm-hmm.
so they can continue to come to these cities. So the request is fine. People can request whatever they want. The company putting the festival together, the company who is running the festival, the company whose name is on the banners, they do not have to appease the city, the police, the mayor when these requests come.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an obligation. That is the problem. If there was pushback from these entities, perhaps this would go differently. But there isn't any pushback that I have seen. So that is the problem on that side of the fence. I have already done more than one rant about Eric Adams on my solo podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he has publicly stated that drill music is a problem, that drill music is responsible for crime. There was then a meeting with several prominent New York rappers
Mm-hmm.
from different subgenres, which I hate that term, but that's how it was put out in the media. And it was supposed to be helping ease some of that tension. And now this move happens.
Well, can I add something? According to NBC News, and according to this is from NBC News, I should say, and according to Sha X is one of the drill rappers. His manager, whose name is Noodles.
Holler. What a name.
I love Noodles, by the
Snot
way.
Boogie. Love it.
According to Noodles, he's saying that the rappers that did meet with the mayor were allowed to perform. And the rappers that did not
Sure.
were cut from the show.
Sure.
I mean, I'm saying that that's according to I don't know. I didn't
even
do
if it's true, it's not surprising.
No, it's not. But that's why I'm saying I've grown frustrated with this conversation because the mayor seems to be concerning himself with things that he doesn't need to be concerned with. And like I said, if the issue is that this particular event is creating a safety issue, then you could just not do business with these people that put on this particular event. But of course, no, everything is a money thing. It's bringing money to the city, all of that. There, who knows? There could be kickbacks, or we don't know. We don't really know why he's so involved. I also know that he's very involved with the NYPD. I think he used to work for the NYPD, if I'm not mistaken. So he has very strong ties with the NYPD, and it's just frustrating because it's like, I know sometimes I'd be on the fence about which way to lean with certain things, but not this. Like, it's frustrating. When I saw it, I was just like, why are we doing this?
His agenda is clear. He said it publicly. And again, if the entities allow it, it's going to continue to happen. And the entities will continue because it's about dollars.
Right. If they're making money, their thought process is, oh, we dropped 3 people, that's fine. We could either put 3 more people in there, or we'll make enough money off of the people that are going to. The tickets have been bought.
Yep.
Is basically what it is, because they just dropped this on them a few days ago.
Yep.
And the concert was this weekend.
Yep.
But yeah, I know it's a complicated conversation, and it's not one that we want to keep having. It's just that I saw it and I was like, okay, this is we're doing this again.
No, it's a good topic. It's just there's a lot to unpack. It's very layered. It's very nuanced. And for me, it's frustrating. So that's why at first I was just like, yo, I'm going to plead the fifth. But
no, I hear you. Well, the other concert that happened was Global Citizen. So it happened in New York and in Ghana.
Simultaneously?
Yeah, that's according to this.
All right, I mean,
it was in Central Park and it was in Accra.
Yeah, it's usually in Central Park. And there's always like every big artist ever is on the bill every time.
I sure was in Ghana. I wish I was in Ghana. I want to be wherever Usher's performing.
I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you were honest. Thank you for your candor.
I don't think anyone understands how much I love Usher. And one day he's going to do something.
Did you listen to the 25th anniversary?
No, I did not.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
What's the album with the blue cover? My Turn?
My Way?
25th anniversary.
Is there new music on it?
I'm not well versed enough to know.
I know that album by heart. I don't need to listen to it.
Well, then you can pull up the track list and you can tell us is there new music on it. But
Global Citizen happened. I just thought it was interesting. You know, we talk about hip hop here. Mariah Carey performed. I don't know whether she performed in New York or in Ghana, but I do know that she performed and she brought out Jadakiss and Styles P.
Then it was in New York.
To do that makes sense. To do the
We Belong Together
remix. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it because I know you can access it on the internet. Well, you can access any video on the internet. But I said that like no, because I remember before it used to be on TV. I don't even think it comes on TV anymore. They just add it
your guess
to
is
YouTube.
Definitely better than mine.
But yeah.
My Way 25th anniversary.
I totally forgot what I was looking at.
Got your back, Jack.
Let's see. You Make Me Wanna, Just Like Me, Nice and Slow, Slow Jam. I know all these. My Way, Come Back, I Will, Bedtime, One Day You'll Be Mine. Oh, it looks like there's some additional tracks though. Like You Make Me Wanna, well, I don't know, I don't remember if these were on the original album, but You Make Me Wanna extended version, You Make Me Wanna Ryan James Carr remake. There's a few remakes by Ryan James Carr.
That's cool. It's not that serious.
But apparently there's a mini documentary,
Oh.
which
now we're talking.
I'm gonna watch that because it looks like it's only about 10 minutes, which
There you go.
I'm tired of things being 3 hours, so I'll take the 10-minute mini documentary.
Okay.
Everything's 3 hours these days. That's like the standard to do anything these days. To create anything, it's 3 hours.
You know how long all our episodes are?
Yeah, I do. That's why, I'm a hypocrite, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's different to be sitting here and talking about things and not realizing that so much time has gone by than to like sit down and commit to watching something. But I appreciate each and every person who sits down and watches this podcast. First of all, this podcast has never been 3 hours, so there's that. But I appreciate everyone who does it. I appreciate everyone who listens. And honestly, I think we can end the episode on that note.
Oh, no Kanye versus everybody?
Oh, I forgot about that. That's the thing that I didn't put on the list.
I mean, I wasn't going to forget that.
That's the thing that I didn't put on the list. I mean, we have other topics, but I think that those are okay to be discussed. They're like one-off topics, whatever, that we can discuss another day. But let's talk about Kanye. Let's talk about Kanye. You want to talk about Kanye?
I'm just curious. So for those who don't know, Kanye has allegedly ended his deal with Gap. He's beefing with Adidas. And if I'm correct, because I'm confused a bit, so excuse me if this is not accurate. But if I'm correct, he posted, y'all know how he does, a document, which is a draft sent from both Gap and Adidas together, saying all of the things that he is restricted from doing because of his deal with the two of them. Very confusing to me. But there was a laundry list of restrictions, things he could not do in different areas.
Yeah.
Everything and anything was listed. The most interesting part to me, which is what I'm curious about, is that it was not just the Yeezy brand that this was about. It says this, it basically said he can't do shit. He cannot use any of his aliases because they have all control of his likeness and all aliases until 2026, if I remember correctly. And
which by my calculations is another 3.5 years.
2.5. But I remember he had a similar beef with Universal / Def Jam because of a bad record deal that he was still locked into. I'm curious, is Kanye just signing away his likeness and everything and anything that conglomerates want from him for long periods of time? I don't have an answer, but that's my question, because that's what it seems like. It seems like Kanye is just giving these entities, these corporations, these conglomerates, everything and anything they want. And that's really weird and confusing to me for mad reasons. So I thought that it was important to bring it up especially because Kanye talks so much about ownership. I'm confused, and we should probably do a deep dive on this when more information comes out.
Yeah.
But signing away your likeness
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
to multiple companies that are not related. Let's be clear, Gap and Adidas are not affiliated in the kind of ways that you would think that companies would be when you get that kind of cease and desist or restrictive letter from an organization. Like if it said Gap, Banana Republic, Old Navy, that would make sense.
They're all the same company.
But Adidas and Gap are not under the same umbrella. So this is really, really interesting, especially when you add to that the piece of the Universal record deal that he was very publicly beefing about. So I am just really confused because when you're an icon and a legend and a rock star, you shouldn't need to do those things.
No.
And it's really bad business practice to be giving away everything. Like, I'm really, really curious. Is this his MO? And if so, what the fuck happens when it's negotiating time? Because you don't have any leverage if you gave them everything. I'm no genius, but even I know that.
Okay, so a couple things. The first one is I think the reason why we're seeing a conversation happening in tandem with Adidas and Gap Inc. is because they, in order for him to have multiple deals, they have to work together to figure out what is okay for one versus what is okay for another.
But right? They're both saying together, here's the laundry list of things you cannot do. Right. Now, it's not like Adidas said, hey, because of your deal with us, you can't do these 5 things. And then Gap said, and then if Gap would have said another thing that said, hey, because of your deal with us, you can't do these different 5 things, I could get that. But this is one letter from both companies, right, saying you can't do fucking anything.
The way that I gathered it was that they've now worked together. Whether they've been working together from the beginning, because he had the Adidas deal before the Gap deal happened. So it is possible that throughout the Gap deal, they have had to work together to figure out what that looks like. That makes sense. I don't know for sure, because it could be new. It could just be he went on the internet and talked some shit and they had to figure some things out and they came together and figured it out now. But I would imagine that a lot of those things, big brands like Adidas and Gap probably had some sort of agreement in place from the start of the Gap deal. That was my assumption. I don't know that for sure, but like I said, even if they didn't do it in the beginning, I think if they didn't, they probably realized once he started acting crazy on the internet, we gotta have a conversation about this. We need to figure this out. So I think that might be what's happening there. The other thing is,
but they're both saying,
right, because they would have to, wouldn't they? I mean, no, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you said,
even if he signed his likeness away to Adidas, Gap wouldn't be able to say that.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. We don't know what was initially negotiated, because of the fact that they're both clothing brands. I could see them in the beginning when the whole Gap deal came about, having to work together to figure out what it would look like working with him. Someone so big and someone who has their hands in multiple things, they would have had to figure out a long time ago how that looks and what they're entitled to. So I think you're right in saying that, yeah, Adidas may have gone to Gap and said, oh, you can't use his likeness for this or whatever. But what if in the beginning they did decide both companies could use his likeness, and these are the stipulations? This is what the contract looks like. Again, I don't know. I'm just asking questions, right? The same way you're asking questions. That was kind of my assumption, that whether they did it back then or they're doing it now. I mean, I would assume that brands like those did it from the beginning, but I could see why they would be working together to figure it all out, because that would make sense, especially if he's talking about them like it's one and the same. Maybe the head of Gap and maybe the head of Adidas was like,
let's go to lunch.
Let's go to lunch. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really.
I don't really give a fuck about them. I'm confused about him.
Well, that's what I was gonna get to next. I think that sometimes Kanye, I said this to you off pod, I think that Kanye is very much a smoke and mirrors type of person. Kanye comes out and Kanye tries to curry favor with the public, and Kanye says a whole lot of things, and he yells, sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively. He yells things and he tries to get us on his side and to distract us from the fact that he has done something that maybe he should not have done, or something that maybe he regrets, or whatever it is. Because trying to get us to stop wearing Adidas, one of the biggest, if not the, next Adidas to Nike, the biggest, one of the biggest athletic brands in the world. Because you signed a bad deal? Kanye, no, I'm not going to stop wearing Adidas. No, my Adidas sneakers, one of them is right there.
I got a pair of Adidas too.
I
have to say they're quite comfortable.
Adidas, listen.
They're quite comfortable.
I feel like you're walking on a cloud with most of Adidas shoes.
I mean, listen.
And I never understood. I also said this to you off pod. I never understood the deal with Gap. It's fine to create brands or create clothing that is attainable to a large amount of people. I assume that's why Kanye did Gap. He also, I think in the beginning when they first announced the Gap deal, talked about how that was one of the brands that he used to wear all the time back in the day. When he was on his like preppy, his polos and that whole look that he came out with in the beginning. This is not a knock to the Gap brand at all. I am currently wearing mostly Banana Republic. So that's Gap, right? So this is not a knock to them in any way, but I never really understood why Kanye went in that direction.
Right.
I don't, and maybe it is just a check, right? Maybe that is the thing that got him. I don't know. But why you would give the Gap your likeness is confusing to me.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think we gotta wait to see if there's more information that comes out.
Right.
But why would you give the Gap? Like, what? It just doesn't make sense. It just sounds a little nuts to me. Maybe he looked at it like, oh, it's only a period of time. I don't know. But Kanye, I can't figure Kanye out sometimes. I really cannot. I just hope that whatever he does next, he's paying more attention to what he's doing.
Right.
Because I can tell you this much. I'm very much going to continue to wear my Banana Republic clothes, my Old Navy clothes, my Gap clothes. I am very much going to continue to wear my Adidas shoes. Okay, like I'm not boycotting any of that for Kanye West.
Right.
The same person who said slavery was a choice.
Another podcaster brought that up concerning this topic as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said you said slavery was a choice. Well, so was signing them bad deals.
Exactly. Agree. Okay.
That's what someone else said.
Agree. I don't know, but I always say I have a very complicated relationship with Kanye West. So
I was trying to find it, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I do. I have a very complicated relationship. I can admit.
I think we all do.
I can admit the love-hate that exists there, but no, he's not going to. You're not going to influence me in that direction.
Yeah,
no.
I think we all have a complicated relationship with Kanye.
Just looking in this closet alone, the things y'all can't see. There's some Gap in there.
I'm about to say you got some Yeezus.
There's some own. I do not
got
own.
Some Yeezus. That's a Yeezus leopard.
No, it's an illegal leopard.
Illegal leopard.
Yeah, I don't. I wish Kanye well on all his future endeavors.
Nah, I need answers.
No, I want answers, but like I wish him well on all his future endeavors.
He can't even have future endeavors at this point. Not till 2026.
Yeah, 2026.
You saw that he said Sway was right.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. When he was yelling at, and that's what I'm talking
about.
How,
Sway?
Kanye be yelling
Sway?
at people.
How?
Literally yelling. I knew what I meant when I said he literally yells.
Like this.
Yes.
This is how.
How, Sway? Yes, I saw him post that, and I was like, Kanye, go sit down. Because that's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes it's like, go sit down because you know what? You made yourself look like an ass. What you should have done was try to go to your business people, Kanye. Go to them and have a conversation with them. When you started getting mad at Adidas and Gap, you should have sat down with those people. The people who you pay to make sure that your shit is tight. You should have had a conversation with them before you went on the internet and told people to boycott Adidas and Gap.
I don't know if he got people that's making sure his shit is tight.
Then he needs to do that.
That's my whole question.
Then that needs to be the next thing. Nothing they can do about this deal now or these deals now, but that's why I'm saying good luck to him on his future endeavors. I mean that wholeheartedly because I don't want to see anybody in a bad way like that.
They said he can't even put a tracker out. Like he can't even put a heart rate monitor. Like he can't make the Yeezus watch, Fitbit, nothing. Like
and people talk shit about Ray J, but Ray J got Raycon. And I just want to point out Raycon does well. Now, I know that Ray J teamed up with some people. I'm not saying that Ray J does it by himself.
But nobody does it by himself.
Right. I know that Ray J teamed up but it's called Raycon.
And listen.
Okay? And people buy his stuff. He sells everything that Apple sells. And then some. I'm not even joking with y'all. Like, I'm so serious. Raycon is legit. Okay, you want AirPods, but you don't want AirPods? You can go to Raycon and get that. You want what did he call the little bike things? A scooty bike? A scooty bike? Yo, I've been wanting to do electronic scooters for the longest. I'm not quite ready, but he's up there with Unagi. Cause Unagi got the motorized scooters. One of my neighbors got one. She be zooming around the place. Anyway, neither here nor there. Anything else you got to say? Any last words? Got a little off track there. I don't know what made me think of that, but I guess my point is, like, Kanye West should know better.
I mean, that's part of my question. Should he? Does he?
Because the Gap deal is not that old.
No, but...
And like you said, Def Jam wasn't that long ago.
It was.
I thought you said that was more recent.
When he was beefing about it recently.
Right, but the fact that he figured it out recently should have meant that he was on high alert about... Like, I understand when somebody comes into the industry or goes into the industry and they have to figure some things out. Maybe they sign a bad deal or two, and then they get wise or they get people around them that help them eventually. what I don't understand is someone like Kanye West, who has been around now for a very long time, and who makes a hell of a lot of money. And honestly, as much as I don't care for her
But
and
does
her
he?
family, when it comes to the business of things,
But does he? Because remember, not too long ago, he was saying, I need money because I have all these projects I want to do, but I don't have the money to fund them.
well, that's true. But then that also takes us into a conversation about what's liquid and what's not. And I don't know. I don't know what Kanye's finances look like. So,
Well, according to him, a Billy.
Yeah, but I don't even think Forbes is reporting that anymore. So, well, that has been your episode of Let's Have a Real Conversation. Find us on the socials, the YouTubes, the TikToks.
Oh no, I see. You was doing good.
The Instagramables.
All right, you finished or you done? You done or you finished?
See you guys in 2 weeks.